Hi, everyone. I am going to introduce you today to Alexandra Tarakanov. She is a hypnotherapist and regressionist. So she helps people on a spiritual level and really psycho-emotional level as well. And so welcome so much for joining me today, Alexandra. I'm so excited to talk with you.
Thank you for inviting me. I'm excited to share.
Oh my gosh, tell us more. Tell us about you. I mean, how interesting that you found hypnotherapy and especially this specific area of hypnotherapy. How did you find yourself specializing in this?
Oh, thank you for asking that. It's really, when you ask, I start to think backwards and put together the roadmap, how it all happened. And it's fascinating. If you would ask me 15, even maybe 12 years ago, do you believe that this is what you're going to do? I would say, I don't know. It doesn't look like me at all.
Wow.
So it's an interesting, way how people choose and find their purpose. And it might be completely different from everything that we learned during our childhood, teenage years, even, my education is I'm an engineer. I have a master in engineering.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. So it's like you were engineering in the external world and now you're engineering on the internal human world. That's how I would think about it.
So beautiful how you put it as a metaphor. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Yeah, and it did help me very much because, when you have this analytical mind and you go into spiritual hypnotherapy, on one level, it can say, it's like going limbing because it's not, you don't run, you go very slowly, really observing everything and checking with your logical mind. Is it the right way to go? Is it the right way to go? So everything that I deliberately chose modalities, and I tried on myself everything that was in interest in order to find the way that I truly believe in.
Wow, it sounds like you're almost like following crumbs. It sounds, like, oh, here's this crumb. Okay, let me check it out. Okay, now I'm going to take another little step, and step by step, this is how you found your way. Wow.
Absolutely. Thank you for this metaphor. It's beautiful. Thank you. So I was born in a socialist country. I was born in Ukraine. It was USSR. I don't know how many remember that country was on the map. Now it is not there anymore. And the society that was there, it was very society oriented. It was nothing about, there was not individualistic approach like we have in this society here where we live, that individual is very important. There is a collective was very important, was above individual needs. So this is how people were raised. At school, you were asked not what would you like to do, what do you think your collective will benefit from if you're going to do.
So it's a whole different way of thinking.
Wow. Yeah. And you try everything that you try as a socialization goes on, you try to fit in. This is your main goal, to fit, not to stick out. No. If you stick out, you're gonna get in trouble. You're gonna get in trouble. And parents also, they wanted their kids to be safe, in this environment. And we never believed that someday the borders will open and we will see the free world. It was like, here you are, here forever stuck. So get along with it. Find a way to live. So parents were teaching their kids not to tell their opinion. It's very specific upbringing. And right now, but I studied art. And when I studied art in Ukraine, everything that we thought that we're going to do with it, what we cannot do free abstract art was completely out of the question. Everything needs to be realistic, socialistically based. And what you're going to, if you're going to have a dream job as an artist, you're going to draw communistic leaders, big portraits that they put, in the streets.
Yes.
So this is like a dream job.
This is where you're headed with artwork.
Yeah, this is your art. So it was an interesting thing. And it was 15 years of my life. And then my parents immigrated to Israel, and it's completely different environment. It's more, it's in between, very much oriented toward community. Much more that we have here. I don't want to put labels, but overall, it's very community oriented, and people are very warm to each other. They can tell you, like they say, "Oh, sweetie," even the way they, Middle Eastern mentality. It's very warm and
yes.
And on the other side, it's not. It's free. So it was another 15 years of my life. And this is where I learned to be an engineer and started to work in this profession very successfully. And then my family immigrated to United States, and another 16 years I spent here very, very lovingly. I love to be here. And it feels like it was all meant to be like that, because by having this experience in different cultures, in different styles of upbringing, in different ways of how we grow individual, how we support individual, and to see the difference, what it can do, it really enhances my practice now. Because how I got into hypnosis, you asked me, my kids started to have allergies when they're little kids, very severe allergies, food allergies. And as a mom, as an engineer, as a mom, I said, well, let's see what medicine can offer us. Let's go to a doctor, and doctor going to tell us what to do. And doctor, what can they do? They go, okay, we're going to give you shots. We're going to give you those medications. And this is the option that we have. And I said, okay, let's try that. And I was terrified what this medicine can do to the body. So I started to research and analyze. And I said, what else do we have? What else exists? Because, nothing can change our belief system as much as moms that we want to do good to our kids. So I was ready to change my belief system.
Wow.
In order to help them. And someone tell me, you can go to holistic doctor. I then gonna give you some kind of little, I forgot the name of this doctor, homeopathic doctor. I go to homeopathic doctor, and they gave me little
pellets.
Exactly, yeah. And they said, you need to give it to your kids every time they eat. And they're like 8 months old, 2 years old, and they eat 6-8 times a day.
It's a lot.
every food that you give them, you need to check with the pendulum. And they gave me a pendulum.
Oh, wow.
Pendulum to an engineer. They gave a pendulum to an engineer. The lady, she changed my belief completely. And I said, well, doesn't matter, pendulum, not pendulum, how you want to call it, I don't mind. If this will help my kids to get out of allergies, I'm ready. I'm ready for that. So for a few years, religiously, every time they were eating, I was coming with the pendulum, checking, and there was no allergy reaction. And I don't know who I was asking and who was answering me with this pendulum, but it taught me to trust something that I cannot see.
Wow.
So there is something that there inside of me, inside of them, because I was using their hands for a specific person, and it's completely changed me. It's completely changed me.
Opened your mind to a totally different way of looking
totally
at the world,
different
really.
way. Mhm. And the other thing that changed me very much, I had to advocate for my kids that they're different. Me from socialistic society that everything need to fit in. You cannot be. I had to advocate for them. Every birthday party that they were going, I was saying, I apologize, but I have a gluten allergy, and I brought a little piece of cake here that is gluten free. If you don't mind, when you share the cake, this is the cake for them. And to overcome this fear of being different.
And standing out.
But I wouldn't be able to do it for myself. But for my kids, as a mom, we can.
Something comes out of us, right? As moms, it's like we go into this protective mode.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So this is what taught me to advocate for people who are different and really respect their individuality. This is how they are. It's not good. It's not bad. Everyone is unique. Maybe for people who grow up in the United States, it's built in. This is how you upbringing. This is how we teach at school. This is how my kids learn at school. For me, I had to learn it after age 30, and it's a tough thing to learn.
Wow. And then did you decide you wanted to get trained in hypnotherapy? Is that how? And you're like, hey, I want to do this.
Yes, I said, what else? What else do you have? Like you said, the breadcrumbs. What else do we have? And someone said, okay, Reiki. Go check Reiki. And, okay, gonna go check Reiki. I went to Reiki master. She was teaching at her apartment. We were 4 or 5 girls. We were sitting in the first class, and she said, well, at the end of this course, after 5 meetings, 5 weeks, I will introduce you to your spiritual guides. And I said, oh my God, where I am, are they normal people? Because it's like spiritual guides, they're gonna talk to me. So, but for my kids, and she said at the end, she looked under the ceiling like this around the room. She said, by the way, they already here waiting for you to meet you. I said, oh my God. So it completely changed my perspective. And then I meet my spiritual guide, and this spiritual guidance actually took the lead, and they started introducing me to different things that would advance me first just as a person. Just as a person, as a mom, as a wife, as daughter, as a woman, just to be aware of myself, to be familiar with uniqueness, to get more involved with spiritual aspect of our being. And then when they decided that I'm ready, they started to bring opportunities of studies to help others. And this is how actually my signature program, right now I realized when I started to talk, you asked me those questions, I realized this is how my program is structured. The first part is know yourself. And the second part is know your immediate family, who are they as a soul, why you are together, what you're teaching each other. And the last part is start helping others. Wow, thank you. This beautiful realization came up to me thanks to you. And hypnotherapy is a beautiful modality, and there are many different ways to do hypnotherapy. 2 main things that we have in hypnotherapy. One is clinical hypnotherapy that doesn't deal with spiritual side. It deals with how our behavioral part, or how our body, let's say, with the symptom. It works with the symptom, less with the cause. And if it's a cause, it's cause here and now. Maximum what we can do age regression, because we believe that emotions stored and we collect them unresolved from the very beginning of our life. This is clinical hypnotherapy. This is when we do our working on pain, to reduce pain. This is where we do birth without with hypnobirth.
Mm-hmm.
This is where we habits. We help people to change their habits. We help people to be more motivated, losing weight, everything that is, I call it everything that we have in our computer, local computer. And then there is a spiritual hypnotherapy that's, you know what? Your local computer actually is in a network. So let me open internet for you so you can see how you can reach, ask questions, how you connect to other computers, so how you connect to computers who are not incarnated here.
Mm-hmm.
Physical form.
Mm-hmm. Wow. It's just mind-blowing, isn't it?
It is. And the more I work with it, and I had hundreds of clients that I regressed, the more I understand that I don't know what is there. Everyone is unique. There is no formula that works for everybody. Every client who comes, every person who I meet is unique. And if not for this learning to appreciate the uniqueness, with my kids, I believe it was the beginning of preparation for this embracing of everyone, uniqueness, but also unity. The all one. And how they described it so beautifully. Recently in one of my channeling, they brought up, they said, look at your body. The teachers, spiritual teachers that I channel, your body is 7 billion of cells. Mm-hmm. Each cell is unique, needed, irreplaceable. Without this cell, the whole organism, it's not the same. But still, they're all working together as a unit to this purpose, specific purpose. Now, look at the human civilization, 7 billion or 7.5, how many we are now. Everyone is extremely unique, but as a humanity, we one organism.
Mm-hmm. It's such a good. I like that where we can see those side by side, right? We see how we're made up with all these different cells that are in communication with each other and relying on each other, and they only create us because of all of them together. And just like you're saying, same as in the world, on Earth, you know, each human, here we are walking around each day thinking that we're alone or, you know, on our own, so to speak, but really we're part of this, you know, bigger organism of humanity. I love how you said that. Mm-hmm. And to just bring our awareness to that interconnectedness that sometimes I think we just lose track of that, right? We also sometimes lose track of the fact that our bodies are interconnected, and that can really cause us a lot of distress when we lose track of that connection.
Absolutely. This is a key right now. I realized when you said that, thank you for putting it so beautifully, that this connection is healing and this division is distracting.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Wow. And I think that a lot of times people have heard of hypnotherapy, perhaps like you said, for something like a habit or a fear, like maybe fear of flying on an airplane or wanting to quit smoking, or right, something where they're like, why is this thing? So usually it's something that kind of annoys them or is preventing them from doing something they want to do in their lives, right? So we get to the point, it's almost like we get to the point of like so much frustration with ourselves and our bodies that we decide to choose hypnosis as a way to,
it's a last resort.
It's a last resort, yeah. Like, okay, I guess I'll do that, you know. But
some of my clients, they exactly what they say. Okay, I tried everything, it doesn't work, and I decided, okay, I will do this hypnosis. I'm going to believe for a moment that it's working, so let's do it.
Well, and this is the thing is, like, I think people think of hypnosis as almost like turning your brain off, right? Almost like, how do I turn my brain off enough that I can shift these patterns without realizing it, without being aware of it?
They say, some of them say like, can you reprogram my mind, please?
Right?
Can you reprogram my mind? Listen to that. Who am I to know what's good for you? I'm human like you. That's why I don't like, not that I don't like, I shifted my focus to spiritual hypnotherapy, because I truly believe that only you, your soul, your spiritual team, your whole being, knowing your purpose, knowing the connection, you can realize and change and shift. And it's like this.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you start, imagine that you have your local computer and something doesn't work the way you want it. And then you say, well, I want to update. Can you please reboot?
Can you just update my software, please?
And this is what they can do. And it's complete shift of, complete shift how you see the world. Complete shift. I will give you an example. I had a lady, she came, she said, along other things that she wanted to be resolved, she said, and by the way, the person that I cannot stand is my mother-in-law. She is everything that I'm afraid to become. She doesn't trust the world, she doesn't that, and she's that, and she's that, and continue on and on. We're very emotional about it. And we go to the life between lives. We want to see who are her spiritual team and who are we think of people tend to think that your soulmate is supposed to be your partner. If you get lucky in this life, you will have a partner, a soulmate.
Yes.
Soulmate, not necessarily a partner. It could be your biggest enemy. Because when you imagine you're playing a very sophisticated lesson to learn between lives, and you deliberately choosing a team to come to learn that, and you, for example, need to learn compassion. Compassion is a hard lesson.
It's really hard.
It's a hard lesson, and you need someone who's gonna be get on your nerve, and not just on your, even put you down very much, and then you will learn to forgive.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't want to put just someone in that role. You want to put someone you trust. So you put your soulmate there, and they're doing this work for you. So this woman, coming back to this woman, the first person in her spiritual team come to greet her is the soul of her mother-in-law. And they gave each other a high five, first of all. Like, you're doing a good job. Thank you so much. And she realized that this soulmate, from her soul group, she took this role for her to be a mirror, what not to become. Imagine how much respect you have to someone who's, I don't want to say sacrifice, because they teach each other. We always teach each other, but who took this role just for you to evolve. And gradually she changed her perspective, because now when she sees her mother-in-law in real life, it's not that she loves her, and because mother-in-law, her physical form, is not aware of that beautiful connection.
She doesn't know, yes. Mm-hmm.
But this woman is able to see through this mask of physical body, to see the soul, to respect it. And gradually their interaction in this life changes.
Mm-hmm. Isn't that something?
Yes.
It's really it's just so, it's like you become aware of whatever that is, the energy, the realm that's kind of behind, like you said, behind the mask. And when we can open up our perspective and see it slightly differently, then it has this ripple effect where it shifts everything going forward, and not in a, from my experience and from what you're describing, it's not in a scary way. It's more like this very pleasant, gentle shift that all of it, you almost want to just giggle over being able to see how that happens, right?
Yes. And surprise, imagine the surprise.
Surprise.
She came before her mom, before her husband, the mother-in-law. So I'm so happy you came. I can tell you what are our roles in each other's life.
And I mean, because you're speaking into this, and I'm not sure how many listeners are familiar with this way of speaking about spirituality, because I think a lot of times when people think of spirituality, they think of, say, religion or, right? Like, and so I don't know if you can just find words around that a little bit in terms of, like, for someone who hasn't really, experienced this or thought about it before, what is this, kind of spirituality that we're speaking of?
Oh, thank you for because I am so much in that I cannot understand that maybe it's a new thing. It's very important question you just asked. People experience spirituality differently. They come to their spiritual knowledge in different ways, and all ways are beautiful as long as you're happy, as long as it talks to you and you feel that with your heart, this is not from here, this is from here, that this is a way to go. What I'm talking about, I'm not in any religion specifically. The work that I'm doing is developed, that what I started to do, developed by two people that are very well known in the United States. This is our fathers and mothers of spiritual hypnotherapy. You probably, some people who are curious about regressions, they know about Brian Weiss. And his past life regression. He is very well known figure. The other person, he introduced and make it popular. He wrote a few books, Only Love is Real and Many Life, Many Masters, amazing books that from him and his clients. Those are reports, case studies, what his clients saw when he regressed them. The other one that I studied from very deeply for many years is Dolores Cannon. She created modality called QHHT, and I am level 3 practitioner in this Academy of Hypnosis. There are only 26 people in the world that are in that level. In United States, we have, I think, 8 to 10 of us who are working at this level, and it's amazing modality too. She, for many years, collected, as she called herself, a reporter. I am a reporter from the afterworld. So she wrote 17th book.
Wow.
17th book. On YouTube, there are many video clips of her lecturing, and many just listening to her, they understand that this is the information that she's speaking about. It's not that they're learning, they're remembering. It's a recall.
It's like we know it already, but we don't know we know it.
Yeah, it's like I don't know if I pronounce this word right. Well, the veil is thickening, the veil that we forget. As a soul, when we come here, we forget what we've been before. So this is what she does, and I studied with her. Again, it's not about religion and spirituality. It's about the what people experience when they go into trance and when they visit those places in between lives, in lives before lives, and very often a very healing place is mother womb. And I'm going to talk about it later because I don't want to miss Michael Newton. He wrote Journey of a Soul. It's one of his books. And also, he's a doctor. And what there is in his books, it's what the client reported. And when he noticed that his client reported the same exact places that they go to, like a library between lives, they will choose their life, they choose their body, a council, those are people who help us, wise people help us to choose the right lesson for the next experience. So those are places that we visit in during hypnosis session. So this is what I'm basing, this is the base
of your work. You bring all of these together.
Something a lot of people don't know is that too much stress can actually create an abundance of health problems like high blood pressure, high blood sugar, anxiety, migraines, insomnia, even fertility issues. This is because high stress puts your adrenal glands on overload. They release cortisol and adrenaline, which controls your digestion, hormones, immune system, energy, focus, and even your emotional response. So how can you beat stress when you don't know where to start? That's why we have a free 7-day stress reset program. It's designed to help support weight loss, digestive healing, and hormone balancing. It includes support for integrating self-care, daily tips come to you by email and video, gluten-free, dairy-free meal plans, as well as grocery shopping lists, journal pages, and more. This free program will help you beat stress and put you on the path to wholeness in your body. Get your plan now for free at drdani.com.
Wow, and thank you for reviewing that, just for anyone who's like, hey, what is this? This is such an extensive amount of work. And as you said, even documentation of these experiences and how it's helped people to transform their health and their lives in really significant ways. I mean, I think, as we talked about, sometimes people choose this path when they're kind of pushed to like the end of their rope, so to speak, feel like I've tried everything and I don't know what else to do. But amazingly, the way you speak about it, I think that, it's such a gentle approach that really it makes me wonder why we don't all choose it much sooner, to have this knowledge about ourselves. And I mean, in some ways, having an awareness that basically each day and each choice we make is so much more than just us choosing. Has all of this, influence that came to the point of us, making these choices in our lives, and the people that are in our lives. To have that awareness, to realize, I mean, in some ways, just even knowing that can almost make you want to like freeze for a minute and be like, oh my gosh, what all is watching me and influencing me. But then you can turn that and realize how beautiful it is that it's all of the responsibility isn't on us. It's kind of liberating to say, hey, there's all of this other awareness and influence, and I'm just living into it. I'm just moving forward through it, and I can live into it much more in peace and happiness if I have this awareness that it came from this spiritual space. I don't know. I'm finding these words as I'm listening to you, but I'm curious if that sounds true to you. If that sounds like what people experience.
Very much. Thank you. I think the reason to the first part of what you were saying, the reason why we don't choose it right away as an option to advance or to repair, because nothing to repair, everything is an experience, because of misconception of hypnosis. When what we encounter as hypnosis in the early age, I see my kids' cartoons. It's all like pendulum, like that, and you lose your mind, and everything is spinning, and they influence.
So it's kind of scary.
It's scary, like you're giving your control out. And the same what we see on the stage hypnosis, we see people doing silly things. People laugh at them, and we understand that they cannot control. They're losing control. And this is what people are afraid of, to lose control. I had one client, she came, Sasha, I'm ready. It took me 2 years to get ready. I'm ready to lose control today. because my goal is much higher than my control, and I'm ready to put it aside. And I said, I'm so sorry you waited so long. You're not losing your control at all. You are in total control. You can open your eyes any moment, at least you feel like that. You can say your conscious mind going to be present most of the session. It's not going anywhere. It can continue analyzing what we see or what you see, or it can choose to be just an observer, just, in a observer seat watching the movie, which is curious. So because he knows that later after the session, it's going to be so much time to analyze. Why not to enjoy just the flow of information during the session, not to interrupt it? So this is the reason I think people keep it as a last resort.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing is leaning into your spiritual support. It's an essential part of growing. And I believe the moment we understand, again, we come to the beginning of our conversation of unity and help, that we are part of bigger purpose, but we all have our unique lessons and our unique goals and purposes. It doesn't take away responsibility, not at all, because this independent choices, when we come here, it's not that everything is predefined, even by us. We choose our experience, but only the framework settled, plus minus. But the choices we do every day, our deliberate creation, applying of our willpower, this is what gets our soul growing and advancing. The willpower that we imagine, that these little things that we choose to do, and the soul is always busy. Even if you look at someone who lays on the couch day after day, and you say, you're so lazy and not doing anything, the soul is doing something. It's probably teaching all the other people.
It's busy somewhere else.
Yes. So our physical body, our personality, how they call it, vehicle.
The vehicle we're in.
The vehicle we're in. We like choose to experience this reality. And the mind is part of the vehicle. The mind, the conscious mind, is part of the vehicle. And for someone who want a more convoluted, perception, the mind is the one that our collective of our minds are holding on physical reality the way we see it. So a soul can experience. It's like, imagine it's like a video game. And someone, the soul, the consciousness, want to experience, want to play and learn. It's like, a child. Okay, I'm taking my controller. I am consciousness. On the screen, I see my, they call it sometimes skin, representation.
Yes.
Of me. So, okay. So who do I want to be this time? A man or a woman? What age? This is how we go into game, right?
Yes.
And then, okay, what do I want to learn? What skills I'm going to take? Okay, I'm going to jump high. I'm going to do that and I'm going to that. This is what soul does. This is how we choose our body.
Yeah.
Okay, now, who do I want to play with? My friends from school, maybe that and that. This is how we choose our family, our interaction here. And then, okay, where do I want to go? Okay, have option, this. This is how we choose a country, how we choose time frame.
It's amazing.
It's amazing analogy. So it's deliberate choice. The same as exit from the game. It's a choice.
Wow.
Not conscious choice, most likely. Not always it comes through consciousness, but it's a choice as well.
Yeah. Wow. Isn't that something? And so you I know you work with people in person, but you've also started working with people online too to help them through this process, right?
Absolutely. There are things that we cannot do online.
Okay.
For example, the sessions that we do, the Laura Scannon method, QHHT, we don't do it online. There are reasons for that. I will not talk about that now, but there are things that we can do online, and a lot. We can do online a lot. We can go to Life Between Lives. We can see our contracts. We can talk to our counsel. We can visit all the places in between. We can do regular past life regression, see who you've been, because it's, this is what I do in my, I created a 6 months program that is based on regression therapy. How can you do 6 months regression? Why to do the same thing all the time? No, it's not the same thing all the time. Because regression, when we talk about regression, it's not just regression to past life. It's regression, it's age regression, it's regression to the mother womb. And here I want to talk a little bit about that. It's the most healing regression that we do. Because in that moment, there is a connection, the soul connects to the body. Integration happens there. About 4 or 5 months, not in the very beginning. And we can there talk directly to the soul that is integrating with the body. And we can ask, well, what are you bringing into this? What are you excited about? What do you want to happen? What did you plan? And you get very clear, enthusiastic speech. So this is, why do you choose this body? Because it's talented in this and in that and in that. And the character has those traits of character that I want to explore. And they're very enthusiastic. And then you can ask, do you feel your mother emotions? And here are the first experiences, the first lessons when the spiritual, let's say not reincarnated, starting reincarnation, interacts with physical. And it can be very emotional. And you can ask soul, what do you do? You're not always there, probably. It's boring to be there all the time. The processes are happening. Oh, yeah. I go and I see my family. I check all the house, the relationship, the father, grandparents. I'm looking at, how my life going to be. Or they can say, the soul can say, I'm going home between life. So to interact with others, what do you do there? So you have like this gate to go and see there with the soul, to follow it. And it's very healing, very, very healing experience. I will tell you a story of my client. She came, and along all other questions that she created was a question that she said something with this thyroid, that sometimes when she speaks too much to her son specifically, she is a teacher and she can speak for hours, but when she starts reading fairy tales at night to her son, her throat, she has hurts, but not the throat, but like something in here, like well, we go to mother's womb, and this is a moment when she feels so much emotion and so much tears that she would like to cry, but she cannot cry. So they stop here because she realized that the mom is not sure if she's going to keep her. So we did some intervention and sent love. And Reiki is a big part of regression. We use it too. So a lot of release, a lot of gratitude to mom that decided to keep her and gave her life. And, after that, she stopped feeling this pain that she was reading to her child. And I wonder if she would do some tests, physical tests before and after, what's the condition of her thyroid gland. I think she would see the difference as well.
it makes me think it's like almost realigning. It's like through the process, a person can realign through awareness with themselves, with realizing, oh, this is how I, here I can feel grateful. And by seeing what she's grateful for having her life, now it opens up something that was constricted in her body, so it's amazing how that connection between our, through that emotional experience and spiritual experience and our physical experience. And
the relationship with her mom changed as well.
Did it really?
Yeah.
Wow. Isn't that something?
It's
just
something.
Her awareness of of that gratitude, right? Of the shift.
Yes. And I saw her a few years after. That's why I know that really I was curious. How's the relationship with the mom? Oh, wonderful. I saw her a few years later, and we went to past life. She was curious about past life, and we find out she was a person. She looked at this person. She said, "I am not a good person. I'm manipulating people. I'm in the castle like 14th or 15th century. I'm not a good person. I'm a manipulator." And what happened to her? She decided to stop her pregnancy and to kill the fetus, not to continue with the pregnancy. And she didn't find peace with that after. She blamed herself. She killed herself with overeating just to forget this pain of killing a person. Now, funny enough, we go again through the womb, and she says thank you right away to her mom for giving her this lesson even before she was born, because it's the same soul. It's balance. What is karma? Is a balance that needs to be bring back to balance. It's an energy, balancing energy. So what mom did with this thinking to keep her, not to keep her, it was essential, quintessential for her to start her life pure and clean, to repay this karma right away, even before she was born.
It's really something. And what comes to mind to me also, because I do a lot of reading research related to how stress affects us, even, the studies that show certainly that stress from childhood, which a lot of people have, some significant stress from childhood, but also stress while in the womb, and even stress from, even if we just think of prior generations, from like a mother or grandmother's stress experience or trauma experience can influence us. Absolutely. And so when we look at that research, then it says what they also tend to say is that, it's almost like a person could walk away feeling like they can't do anything about it. Like, I went through this trauma and it's just now stuck in me. And they talk about how these stresses and traumas can have a negative impact on a person's health, increasing all different kinds of health risks, from heart disease and cancer to even higher fracture risk, right? So they've studied this. And yet, what I start to get interested in is what can we do about it, right? Because we can't, in our physical state, we can't go back in time and avoid that, whatever trauma happened. It happened to us, but what can we do so we can help ways to try to help improve our health at this moment in time? But what you're describing is being able to use this regression to go back to the womb or before the womb and shift that trauma experience, or at least our understanding and awareness of it, so it heals it at that past time, and it has this ability to ripple forward in time and shift our health and our experience in our life now.
Absolutely. And the beauty is not just that it's an awareness, it's awareness of the higher perspective, why this happened, and the gratitude that comes for things that it's impossible for human mind to be grateful for. How can you be grateful for abuse?
Mm-hmm.
It's impossible.
Right.
But when we go in between life and, oh, this is my father, he took this role, it's my soulmate to teach me, again, compassion. It's not that you're going to love your father for that. I don't know if it's possible.
Mm-hmm.
But at least you will know that this was your choice as a soul and you are not a victim.
Mm-hmm.
And this is completely different perspective. You are in control of your life. And then they like to tell those lessons, how you can apply them in your everyday life now. I had a lady, she said she had this terrible abuse in her childhood by not just father, but the whole family. They started to describe her childhood. I was, sometimes, how can you become functional adult after such a terrific trauma that you went through? I'm admiring them for this trait. And she said, I see as my goal, as my vision, to hold meeting for women who went through trauma and to lead them to show, look, I've been there. I passed it. This is how I healed. Come with me. I will support you when you heal yourself. So seeing the higher purpose, it completely, again, coming to I am in control. I'm choosing that.
It's something, because like you said before, people worry about losing control, but actually this is giving them control back again, showing them that they were in control all along anyway.
They just forgot. Sometimes they go there and they choosing what experience they want to learn. And sometimes you go to the library, this book is interesting, this is interesting, I want to try this, I want to try this, collect like huge bunch of troubles they want to experience to learn, to grow. They go to counsel, the wise beings, and the counsel, are you sure you wanted this much? Yes, very enthusiastic. No, go check again. So they check it again, revise it, bring again. Are you sure you want that much? And then sometimes they take a lot. They take a lot into this lifetime and they go back and they say, oh my God, what was I thinking by choosing that much? Again, control comes back to them. I choose that much.
Well, it's really, I can see how it can be so transformative for people. And I'm so glad that how amazing that you've made it possible for people to access your work through your online program. So your program is called Self-Hypnosis for Self-Mastery, which you've just explained why it's self-mastery, right? It's
absolutely. Again, thank you. It comes back to individual you, unique you. And again, we start with understanding your gifts, accepting your gifts, and shedding the limiting beliefs that we accepted as kids. That this is us, not always what people think we are, we actually are. We are much more. So realizing your brightness, you are a star. You are a star. And I aim this program to people who are extra sensitive. I call them extra sensitive. There are a few reasons why. The first reason is I believe that they are extrasensoric. They have extrasensoric abilities that weren't developed. So those are people who have very easy access beyond the veil right away. But it's confusing them, it's overwhelming them because they don't understand what the gift that they have, and they think it's not the gift, it's their problem.
Because they're so sensitive, they're picking up on a lot of information, and they're like, why? I don't want all this information.
It's too much, first of all. After all, they get confused. Where is their own space? And where is something they pick up? And sometimes it brings to the numbness. They completely numb themselves from
It's like a coping mechanism.
Yeah. So those are people that I am inviting, because I teach them to understand their gift, start learning from that gift, working with that gift, embracing that as a gift. The second part of the program, we are understanding the context we are in, our family. As we talk today, our immediate relationship are the most teaching relationship. And most often those people who are extra sensitive, they have extra sensitive kids. And imagine if you don't know how to deal with it, then you get a kid like that.
Then it's even more confusing. Yes.
Yeah, so that's why I say, if you are extra, or you have an extra sensitive child, I'm inviting you to this program, Self-Hypnosis for Self-Mastery, because I believe that we are able to access this knowledge without any middleman. You need to have your access, your key. So this is what I teach them. And now after the second part of the program, they are able to understand their kids, to be able to help them too, to acknowledge them. Little things like a lady said, I realized that I need those 15 minutes a day, just close my eyes and be in the room without anyone. And she has 3 kids and 2 dogs. It's not easy to tell your family, you know what, I need my 15 minutes now. And the first thing she realized that when they see how she behaves after those 15 minutes that they gave her,
then they're like, go do your 15 minutes. Yeah.
This is number one. Number two, one of her kids understood himself that he needs those 15 minutes too.
So beautiful.
And this is a little part of even not what we are doing, because what we're doing, we go with the regressions. We have, since I'm clinical hypnotherapist, we work not just on the, let's say, internet, we work on local computer as well, because our limiting beliefs are here. There is nothing limiting in the level of the soul.
But we get stuck. These limiting beliefs kind of prevent us from accessing, I think.
Yeah, this is a filter. Imagine that all the information that needs to come through the filter of our beliefs. Some of them are very helpful. Some of them are our brilliant mind. Such a big kudo to our mind. But some beliefs prevent us from living our full potential. So we work, the second part of the program, we work on our immediate environment. And the third part of the program is living your purpose, finding your purpose. And I'm going to say a little bit, they don't know yet, but the guides that I'm connected to, they know that I'm working with my spiritual teachers, and every class, before I talk to them, before I teach them, I sit down and I'm downloading the curriculum for them, specifically for them. So my guides, my teachers already have a promotion that they're gonna create a 6 months advanced class to teach them to be holistic practitioners, but from the point of view of a soul.
Because now you've helped them to connect so that they know their soul. They're living with an awareness of their soul. Wow.
Yeah, and they, for some reason, those people who have extra sensitive people inside of them, because they're so empathetic, they have an ego to help. Those are the ones that if you ask for help, those are the ones who are going to raise their hand. I can help.
Automatically,
even on taking away from their own energy. So those are people who need, it's part of their life purpose to be of purpose. but to do it ecologically, to help others, not harming their own development. This is what this is the goal.
Wow. It's really something I'm so glad that you came to share about it with me today. And I look forward to sharing it with everyone else. And I'm going to be sure to put a link to where people can find out more about you and this program you're speaking about specifically, but you and all of your work, because I know that you're always looking for new ways to be able to just share this with people. Speaking of people who like to help, have a purpose of helping others, you seem to really have that purpose to help others and to help them, especially when people start to have this sense that maybe there's something more, right? That there's something, they want to find their purpose, or they want something different in their lives, or would you say these are sometimes the thoughts that people might be having when they come to you?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Like sometimes they come, they cannot pinpoint there is no problem. It's not like they're coming, but there is something that is missing, something that they're not, like someone told me, it's like I had a couple of classes that I didn't complete, but I don't know what. This kind of feeling that
it's just this feeling, right? Like this unfinished feeling. And then you're just like, okay, here I am. Help me figure out what's unfinished.
Because they bring, like in the mother womb, they know that they bring this bag of tricks that they want to experience, and they didn't touch it.
I just don't even know what to say. It's so amazing. It's really so amazing. It's just, I feel so grateful to know you and to get to hear this, to share with others about what it is that you do and how you help people access these other aspects of themselves. So thank you again.
Thank you for inviting me. I'm so grateful that you invited me to share it.
You're welcome. So I'm sure we're going to be talking more, but for now, thank you for joining me. And for anyone listening, be sure to look for the show notes that tell you more about how to reach Alexandra and all of her amazing work. And yes, and please share if you have comments or questions or feedback on this interview and others too. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for listening to How Humans Heal. If you liked this episode, leave a rating and a review. And for more resources, visit drdani.com.